and welcome to another episode of the Diz Explorers podcast, where each week we explore the different avenues of the great Disney universe. This week, the rumor mill is churning again. As most of you have probably seen, the D23 Expo is coming up, and a few of the more popular blogging sites have put out rumors about the Epcot expansion that was mentioned a few months back. So we're just gonna go through the list pretty much that's been floating around out there that I'm sure most people have seen. If you have not seen it, it's out there. You can Google it. I'm not gonna give the names of the websites. I'm not plugging nobody for free. So we're just gonna go through some of the stuff and just give our opinions on it, what we think about it, if it's something we think is actually going to happen, or if it's just rumor mill stuff. Sometimes I'm not sure if Disney lets information go just to see how it's received in social media and by the public, to see if there's a buzz about it, or if it's stuff that just people could care less about and gets ignored. I don't know if they kind of use it as a pre-survey to see what they want to put in the parks next, but I think honestly they could care less what we think, and they're going to put in what they think and their research department feels is going to get people in the park and spending money. So we'll go from there. So Epcot's 35th anniversary is coming up this year on October 1st. So that's where a lot of this is stemming from, because as I said earlier, they made an announcement a few months back at one of the Destination D. Actually, it was more than that. I think it was November of last year at the Destination D they had in Orlando, that there was big things coming to Epcot, but there was no dates and there was no information other than that, and that was it. Most of us assumed that when the D23 Expo comes up in Anaheim, which is at the end of July, that more information would be revealed, probably more solid stuff, kind of like what they did with the Star Wars Land and Toy Story Land 2 years ago at the last D23 event, the major one in California. So we're just going to start here, so starting at the entrance to the park, there was mentions of a new entryway coming with removal of the giant obelisks, or tombstones as some people call them, with the Leave a Legacy faces all over them, which was a good idea, I guess. I mean, my wife and I have our faces up there from our honeymoon, but I think it fizzled out pretty quick. It wasn't as popular as the bricks and the walkway that never made it all the way around the Magic Kingdom either, or around the lake that was supposed to, in front of all the resorts, and make a complete loop around the lake. That never made it all the way around either. And that was a much better idea, I think, than these Leave a Legacy things, because while the idea was cool, but the execution was poor. Those things are ugly, to say the least, and depending on how the picture was taken, some of the way they did your engraving, didn't even either look like you, or it made you look like you were like 100 years old, because it looked like you had wrinkles all over the place. I don't know, did any of you guys get any of those done?
No.
I didn't do it, but had friends that did it, and none of them were happy with their picture that was on their plaque. So
yeah, I mean, ours isn't terrible, but we did it. My brother did it. My parents did it. I think uncles and most of my family, I think we have them on there somewhere. But yeah, it's not, I don't go and look for it every time we go there. Forget most of the time. I don't even know where it is. I know I have the little pamphlet they gave you with the things, but so I won't be sad to see any of those go. So I don't know what they're going to fill that area with, some sort of planters, or, I mean, they have those giant planters there anyway, so I don't know what kind of decor they would put there. Something to bring it up to the 21st century, I would assume, since being built in the 80s.
Greenery would work. They don't have to go to many extremes to make that area look better.
No, I don't think so. I mean, you got Spaceship Earth, which is the focal point. I mean, the one thing I'd like to see is that fountain, that the name escapes me of because that fountain did have a name at one point. When the park first opened, and for many years, it had these 3 tall, I don't know if they were plastic or some sort of glass towers that came out of the middle of that fountain, and then so they were on 3 sides, and they were clear, and they had the original Epcot logo engraved in there, kind of like the rings that all go through each other. And they removed that at some point. I don't remember during which update. And I'm wondering if they will put that back in conjunction with the anniversary. Because not only the 35th is coming up, I think most of these projects they want to try to get done for the 40th anniversary, which will also be, I believe it's the same year as Disney World's 50th anniversary. So
I think it's close.
I think it's close, yeah. I don't know
I think it says Epcot is in 2022, but Walt Disney World is 2021. So they'll probably run those together.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And I'm sure the 50th will be a big, huge, 18-month celebration like they've done in the past, which I hope it is. I mean, 'cause that'll be awesome. Yeah. And we've heard absolutely zero about that, but that's another topic for another time. So, not much going on there. It's the entrance plaza. It's not, as magnificent and grandeur as like the Magic Kingdom is, or even Animal Kingdom. The Studios one is pretty boring and basic, but the Epcot one is what it is. You're under the monorail platform, you're through the turnstiles, and there it is. You're in the park. So not much going on there. So be interested to see what that is. And then next on the list was a Spaceship Earth update, which I don't know what else they can do with this other than fix the descent. That's the only real thing. I mean, the rest of
unless they could do a new show altogether.
Right.
How many times can we thank a Phoenician?
Well, we can not thank the Phoenicians at all. I mean, they can, if they really want to fix it, they can bring back Jeremy Irons if they really want to fix it and get rid of what's-her-puss.
Ska. Oh, I like Judi Dench.
Yeah, she's pretentious. She talks.
But Jeremy Irons.
She talks down to us like we're idiots. I don't like her tone.
See, I like the Jeremy Irons
version. But Scar
is
so much better.
The Scar version is awesome.
Yeah.
Scar version, the Jeremy Irons version. Yeah, his narration is probably the Scar version.
Get real. We all know it's the Scar version.
That's right. And at least there was stuff to look at on the way down. Albeit it was outdated then, but with all the ridiculous technology they have now, I don't know. The screens
Maybe they're making new little animatronic peoples as we speak.
I get, and the other thing they really should do if they want to make it like a nice anniversary and really shock the crap out of everybody is get all the stuff that, because when you used to go up Spaceship Earth and when you got to that top scene where the reveal was of the planet Earth, there was a space station with the spaceman hanging. There was another space thing of some sort before you turned completely around. And that stuff is still hanging there. It's just been blacked out. Why it was blacked out, I don't know, because it went along with the theme of Spaceship Earth, and the soundtrack of the Jeremy Irons version was so majestic when you got up there. It was like, it got louder. It was just beautiful. And how it comes now, it's like kind of anticlimactic. So, who knows what they're going to do. I don't know that they're going to rewrite the whole thing and have a new narrator come in, but they definitely can upgrade the descent. I mean,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Heck yes.
There we go. As long as he doesn't use his Doctor Strange American voice.
Yes, agreed.
As long as it's not Johnny Depp.
No.
Don't go there.
He already has an attraction.
That's right. Yeah, he's good. We don't need any more Johnny Depp. Too much Johnny Depp.
No, wait a minute. Yeah.
Like I said, other than fixing the descent of that attraction, and then the exit as well, the what the hell is it called now? Project Tomorrow. Those exhibits in there.
Half the stuff doesn't work.
Yeah, and they're old.
Yeah, the last 2 times we were there, they didn't work.
Yeah, they're old. That stuff is way outdated technology. I mean, they really got to keep up with stuff in that park with the technology stuff. It can't be every 15 years because it's so outdated that it's just ridiculous. And by the time they replace it, that stuff's outdated as well. I mean, I guess it's hard to keep up with all the newest technology, but man, they bring it, within at least 5 years. So, Siemens is remaining the sponsor as far as I know. So, they should dump some money into that and get it.
They supposedly renewed, didn't they? Just recently?
As far as I know, yes. Yeah. So then after that, we hit the Innovations area, which is 99% closed now anyway. So
just level it.
I believe that's the rumor to open up that whole plaza and that whole area would be to remove those buildings altogether, except probably or remove a lot of them, and a big remodel for Mouse Gear. There was talks of another multi-level restaurant, probably a quick serve, but Future World could go for a sit-down dining experience of some sort. So everything doesn't always have to be over in World Showcase. I mean, the Electric Umbrella is hardly enough to service all of Future World. You know, Starbucks is Starbucks. I don't want to go near that place anyway, so I don't buy anything.
Yeah, but you have Seasons in the land and
right, but that's
and the Garden Grill.
Yeah, that's all on. That's it, just in the land. Yeah, you have Sunshine Seasons, right, which is not even open for breakfast anymore. It opens at 11 now.
What?
Wait, no. When we were there in June, there were some breakfast options, but only like one or two of the little things is open, and it's not. I don't think they do any to order.
No, that's what I mean. It's all just it's grab and go.
Yeah, grab and go.
No, they used to do that, but that happened a while ago, and they didn't even have the grab and go when it first closed. Like, it didn't open till 11 o'clock for lunch. So I think they got such backlash. That's when they started, like Adrian, the grab and go stuff. You used to be able to get. They had awesome stuff for breakfast there. They had, you can get the bounty platter. You can get there was a nice egg sandwich on like ciabatta bread with either bacon and sausage or sausage and ham. I forget what it was. They had fantastic breakfast options there.
Yeah, and that sandwich was huge.
The sandwich was, and it's the same. And getting off topic here, of course, but they used that same bread, and they had for lunch. They used to have, it was a turkey sandwich on the ciabatta bread, and it was like a slice of pizza because it was like cut in a triangle. And it was huge, and it was fantastic. So anyway, yeah, they do have those options there, but as far as for the front of the park or the center point of the park, and not having anything but one dining option, there used to be two. The Fountain View on the other side used to be a full service dining back in the day. And then it closed for whatever reason.
We used to have the pasta place, too.
Yes. Yeah, that was the Fountain View. Or it was the Electric Umbrella was a different name. That got upgraded to that in 94 when they redid Interventions, when it changed from Communicore to Interventions. So the pasta place was that, and then on the other side, there was another quick service that I believe was still called Fountain View.
No, the Fountain View is where Starbucks was.
That's what it is now,
Starbucks
yes.
Is now.
Yeah, that used to be a full restaurant.
The pasta place was in the where the character thing is now.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, where Baymax and that side?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, where Baymax and Joy.
The pizza was awesome. I hated the fact they got rid of that.
I remember that. So I'm assuming the character spots will stay because those are like the central parts of it.
I would assume those two.
It's just the wings, I think.
Buildings would stay, and the two innovations would probably go away.
Right, like the wings that extend out.
That all up.
Right, and obviously where Mouse Gear is would stay. So, and it would open that whole area up, which would be nice. It'd be nice to have that more flowy and stuff. I just hope it's not. It doesn't necessarily have to be an attraction or an exhibit that goes there, but if it's some sort of nice landscaping, some nice seating, they better not touch that fountain, which I don't think they would do. Maybe upgrade the music a little bit, because that music's the loop that's been playing there has been playing there forever. I mean, I like all those songs, but, maybe change it or add some instead of take away, add a few other tracks along the same line would be cool. So
maybe they'll add a video showing fireworks to the fountain.
Wouldn't put it past them. I don't.
Sorry.
I don't feel the need for that, but we're getting out of hand with those friggin' water projections.
I know.
Everything's turning into that. So, and then probably one of the biggest things, well, not, because as I go down the list I have here, I could say this would probably be one of the biggest ones, but it's been the rumor that's been circling around for a while is Universe of Energy closing, which is all but confirmed pretty much after the anniversary on October 1st. Cast members were told that it's going to shut down not long after that. So I would assume before holiday season that'll be done. I don't even know that they would open it for the holiday time, because I still don't think people would go in it because it's not hot if nobody wants to take a break. It's just one more piece of the original Epcot that's going to go away, and out of all the original stuff, it was never my favorite one. I enjoyed it. I like seeing the dinosaurs. It's pretty cool. So I'll definitely make sure when I'm down there in September that I go on it one more time just for the old time's sake. But I can say I won't miss it when it's gone. So rumors are now shifted from Tron to Guardians of the Galaxy of some sort. And from images I've seen that were floating out about the same as this, with the aerial view of that side of Epcot, because you got Wonders of Life, which is right next to it, which has been vacant except for what they use it for, food and wine and flower and garden. So there was the possibility of that pavilion could be demoed to use that parcel for whatever they're going to do in the Universe of Energy area. I had heard and read that the Tron thing is supposed to be slated for Magic Kingdom. So where, I don't know, unless the Speedway's finally going to go. I don't know where else they can add on to the Magic Kingdom. They can't go any further in Tomorrowland because that's the waterways behind Space Mountain and the monorail and the roundhouse. So
yeah, the Speedway thing
is
a little confusing because unless Chevy's going to bring the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on to help sponsor that, I mean, they just renewed the sponsorship for the Speedway last year.
Right.
And it's typically like a 5-year deal.
Right. And it's still insanely popular. It's always a half hour to hour wait.
It's always crowded to go smell gas fumes.
Yeah, well, gas fumes don't affect me anymore just because I've been around it for work for 25 years. So, listen, I think it annoys me until I get on it with the kids, and maybe because my kids are at that age. They're 12 and 10. So to sit in the thing and be, bounced around down the track and watch them laugh, I can't help but enjoy myself on it. But
yeah,
I'll never ask them, hey, do you want to go on the Speedway? If we're walking by.
Never volunteer myself for it.
And I tell them, if it's like a half hour or under, fine, we'll wait in line. I'm not waiting an hour for it. There's other things we can do. I'm not burning a fast pass for it either. So,
yeah.
So, last time we were there, we waited. It was like half hour, 35 minutes. And they all had a blast. So I can't ask for much more than that. So it's still popular with kids. So as long as the lines are and like you said with the sponsorship, I don't see them taking it out. They probably should do something to bring the cars up to a standard of some sort.
Today's EPA standards?
Yeah, I mean, geez, they could even do little 4-strokes now. I mean, all the small equipment I have at work is all 4-stroke engines that don't smell. Yeah. I mean, they don't have to use those 2-stroke stinkers anymore. I mean, I'm sure it's a huge financial thing, which is probably why they haven't done it. I don't know how the Autopia is in California. I can't imagine that thing's a smog bin.
It didn't smell at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I gotta imagine they've upgraded that. So.
Yeah, they've done a couple of times, and now Honda is the official sponsor, so it's a lot more like clean energy, and it's definitely better.
Definitely.
Well, it's going to get a big upgrade, too, next year, right? Not what the rumor
Crazy
was.
Californians.
Oh, yeah.
That clean energy stuff.
California's the reason that EPA and the California Air Regulations Board exists for all the cars, and that we all have to do our emissions. Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but we have to here in good old Connecticut.
Oh, we do, too.
Yeah, we don't do that crap in Indiana.
Good old Connecticut.
Yeah, back to Universe of Energy. They did file permits a few months back.
Yes.
There's a water canal that runs behind Universe Energy and behind the Universal, whatever it's called.
Wonders of Life.
The Body Wars building.
Wonders of Life.
So they've submitted a permit to move that out further and add to the backstage area. So that leads you to believe either they're going to add more off-stage space or building space. And then something about expanding the parking lot on that side of the park too. So
right, or whatever new building is going to be massive. I mean, because the Universe of Energy show building is huge. I mean, you think about those cars moving through there and the set pieces on either side with it. I mean, that building is gigantic. Yeah, it's huge building. As most of them are, you just don't see all of it because they don't want you to. But if you look at aerial views of any of those things, it's just massive. So, skipping around the list here, I'm not going in order now because it kind of plays into the Wonders of Life building, or at least what I'm going to say about it. So the Wonders of Life building coming down kind of saddens me because I think it's a great space, and the exhibits that were in there were awesome. Besides the main ticket attractions being Body Wars, Cranium Command, those were fantastic. But all the little stuff that you did, like the little goofy thing about health, and then they had those exercise bikes that were like the virtual reality ones way from back then, where you can like bring up like pictures of the Magic Kingdom or Epcot, and you were like riding around through the park. That was cool. They had the little comedy show with the body parts and thing, or your insides or something like that about eating healthy and things of that nature. I don't understand how that can't be brought. People are more into that now than anything else, with organics and green living and healthy cooking and things of that nature. That to me would be not a no-brainer, but they could really play on that.
Well, and didn't you have the original Inside Out movie there? The Cranium Command or whatever it was called?
Cranium Command, that show. Yeah, that was I loved that show. The whole... Yeah, well, that was with your emotions. It wasn't all the same ones as Inside Out, but that's what I was getting to, because further down the list, looking on the rumor website, there was some sort of thing for Inside Out taking over the Imagination Pavilion, which... to me, it makes more sense to use the Wonders of Life building. It goes hand in hand with that. It's your life. It's human nature. They could do that whole building as some sort of an Inside Out themed thing. And
but it's not a stretch to go from imagination to feelings.
No, it's not.
From imagine to emotion. So I can kind of at least see a correlation, but...
Right. No, I get it. I
Nurse
think
by Training, bring back the Wonders of Life.
Yeah.
I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, it was a great space. There was cool stuff in there. Obviously, bring it up to times. I mean, that building opened in 89, I believe. So, as with anything else, you got to keep up with it. I just, I don't know. That stuff just aggravates me when there's stuff that has potential and nothing's done with it for whatever reasons. I get it. There's no corporate sponsors anymore for anything, but... I mean,
that's the same ride tech as Star Tours, right?
It was the exact same ride, except different sequence, obviously, but it was the exact same thing. You sat in the same type of vehicle, put the glasses on, except you were going through the body. You went to the whoever it was a guy or something, he got a splinter, and the scientist was in there collecting blood samples and watching the white blood cells take care of the wound, and then you were watching her, and then everything goes bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, totally cool.
Cranium Command was my favorite, though. I loved that. I loved general knowledge. I liked the whole, drill sergeant thing, yelling at everybody and name calling, and you had Dana Carvey and Charles Grodin and Bobcat Goldthwait as all the actors for the for the different emotions inside the 12-year-old boy as he's trying to navigate through the day. It was an awesome attraction. It really, really was. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know why it wasn't packed every time, because I laughed every time, but what do I know? I laugh at the Jungle Cruise every time too, so.
I do too. It's
I
okay.
feel bad. I mean, if you get a good skipper, it's great, but I feel bad. The jokes are corny and I know them all, but I don't know. Just, it makes me laugh. So, who knows? I don't know, I'd hate to see Wonders of Life gone and Imagination replaced with Inside Out characters when they can have both. Because the Imagination can, if they go back to, even if they play on what it is they are now with the 5 senses, that's different than emotions. So it's you're still, I don't know. They can bring that back to its former glory, I think, and it would still be popular today. A lot of these attractions went down because they had physical technology and ride issues with it, and so that was their excuse to half-ass them to get them back online, was to cut the attraction in half and throw a bunch of scenes up, and people will still ride it because it's there and there's nothing else to do. So, but anyway. So, one I could care less about because I don't personally go on the attraction is Mission Space. So they were talking about an update for that. I don't know if that means a new mission or who knows. Bye-bye, Lieutenant
Probably
Dan.
a new movie.
Yeah.
I love Lieutenant Dan.
I like Lieutenant Dan,
I
too.
do, too.
But
I would think a new mission. I mean, I think we've all done Mars enough.
yes.
Let's
Pick
go
a different
somewhere
planet.
else.
Pick a
Or be
different
like
planet.
Star Wars.
Or-
You can have different.
Yeah, how about having
hard is it to
multiples?
put a new? Yeah, how
Right.
hard could that be?
I don't
I
go...
mean, all the pre-show stuff is that you're going to Mars, so they'd have to change that too. But
Yeah, but that's easy.
Eh,
That's easy.
Yeah.
Shouldn't... I mean,
this is Disney. They can do it.
those simulator things have to be...
Nope.
They have to be the easiest things because you don't physically have to change anything. You change the show, you program a new sequence to match the movie that you shot, and you're done.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not a computer programmer. I don't know how long that stuff takes. I know it's tedious and matching timing and everything, but honestly, how long could it be? A month? If they had a concept and got everybody together and did what they needed to do and bang it out, it could still be called Mission Space. It's just give yourself a different mission
Right.
or do a couple different ones. And the Star Tours thing, not to get off topic, but that's a load of crap too, because that thing came out and they're like, oh, there's 53 different combinations. Every time I go, I get the same friggin' 3.
yeah, I've had 7.
I've not seen anywhere near what they say. It's definitely totally not random. And I
went all the way to California and got the same 3 scenes in California that I get every time in Florida.
always started off with Vader in the hangar bay trying to chase you, and then it's usually the gun.
Yep.
It's usually... I think the only other one I've gotten is the pod racing one, which made me completely sick. So then I didn't even go on the ride for 2 times. And then at the end, I usually always get either the Gungan one or when they were putting the new stuff in, the underwater one where the creature eats the creature and then another creature eats the creature and he's like latched onto your ship and throws you out of the water. It's like the same friggin' ones.
Yep.
So I don't know where the other 45 are. You got to get super lucky to get them, I guess. Hopefully that'll all change with the Star Wars land opening up, because then that'll be a walk-on. So, let's see. Checking off my list here. So I've got all that. So let's see what's next in Epcot. Oh, so the land. To me, not much needs to be done there. I guess they could upgrade the boat ride a little bit, but I hope they don't, because I think it's perfect just the way it is. It's fine. I mean, I miss the cast member.
Some of that, the movie screen thing with the faces that pop up and the fields, that's a little dated.
Those can be upgraded, yes.
A few updates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the gist of the ride itself, but a few updates.
Yeah,
I mean, some of those
Would be
films are
nice.
from the 90s. I mean, farming
that's
technology...
Right.
Farming
Oh,
technology
definitely.
has come so far in the last 30 years that...
Yeah, that I'm surprised they haven't done more frequently. But yeah, that's an easy fix. Absolutely.
I mean, my brother-in-law here in Indiana is probably 2 years from not even having to drive his combine.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
It's going to drive itself.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so that's an easy fix. I think the major one in that pavilion is the little movie, The Lion King Fable movie now, which used to be Symbiosis, which is the most depressing thing to go and watch, but staying true with edutainment, it is teaching.
It was cool though.
I mean, I don't mind it. Like I said, I don't run to it, but if I need to kill some time waiting for Soarin' Fast Pass or just to cool
Or you
off,
just want to relax.
yeah, go and sit in there for 15 minutes. Timon and Pumbaa are always funny, so can't go wrong with them. You get carpeting on the walls. 80s all the way, man. So
Definitely doesn't need any updates, right?
yeah. So, we'll see what happens with that. And then the last pavilion in the World Showcase area to mention is Nemo. So, and the thing about that was turning it into the Seas Pavilion. Turning it into...
Marine Life Institute.
Yeah, from the new Finding Dory movie, which...
That's just a layover.
It's just a layover.
Yeah.
That,
I mean,
that pavilion had so much, again, like Wonders of Life. There was so much wonderful stuff in there to see and do. And then when United Technology stopped sponsoring it, and it was, nothing for a while. And then when they changed it over to Nemo and did Turtle Talk from Crush and everything else, they just stopped doing all the little shows and things. There was like that one of the rooms, I don't know if it's the room where the Bruce thing is now, but they had the whole thing with Atlas where it was like the live atlas of the world, where it was kind of like a Circle Vision 360, but not really. It was like maybe half the room was screens, and there was like an animated character that was Atlas, the globe, and it went over stuff about the water on the earth and the oceans and the seas and things like that. And it was, I don't know, it was interesting. It went along with the edutainment theme, which is what Epcot was going for. I'm pretty sure that ship has sailed, and because I'm just an old nostalgic about it, that I want it to come back, but I don't think it's ever going to, because I just don't think that's what people nowadays want to do when they're in a theme park. They don't want to learn. Whether they know they're learning or not, they just want to be entertained and have a good time and scream and yell and, get their heart rate up. That's not what I look for in a theme park, but I'm in the minority, so what do I know?
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I mean, Disney is escapism, right? So whatever that form that comes in for people is...
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. No, I'm not... Listen, I'm not judging anybody. But I'm just saying, thrill rides don't do it for me, so I don't... Knowing that a roller coaster is coming, I could care less. It just doesn't... Mm-hmm. That's just not my cup of tea. So, not saying I won't ride it and enjoy it, but... and I'm not an Imagineer, so I don't know, if you were to ask me what would you do instead, I don't know. I don't know. I would do what was there 25 years ago, because that's what I loved and that's what I liked. That's what I would do. Just, up with now's technology, and it would be that much more awesome.
And some of the spaces, like the Manatee Rescue area, are looking sad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even if they just visually update some of the things. I love the manatees as a native Floridian. I love having the manatees there, but that particular area is sad and not so interactive.
Right.
Cast members are often just standing there.
Yeah. Well, and just the vibe in the building is just like...
It's slow.
Well, because they killed the paint. The paint job was beautiful in that building. It was nice oranges, and it was a nice contrast of color from high up. It was nice lighter colors, and then it went down to like a softer blues and blue, and then they just slammed blue over the whole friggin' building.
Maybe if they get a nice Pixar color scheme in there, get some of the Pixar artists to I think they could keep the theme. That's probably the one place in World Showcase where the edutainment will actually be educational.
Yes, I agree.
Because, anything aquatic with the ocean life, it just inherently lends itself to both entertainment and education.
Right.
So I think a nice color scheme, revamp a few of the areas to make them a little more exciting.
Yep. Yes.
To keep the manatees. I love the manatees because those are rescue manatees. Those aren't just manatees in residence. Those are actually rehabbing those manatees. So I love that mission part of it as well. So keep on keeping on with the aquarium aspect of it. But yeah, a facelift can't hurt.
No, definitely not. I mean, hell, that ceiling, because it's like a domed ceiling. Man, if they did like a
some natural light
or like a planetarium thing, just have like stars. Like, LED
a planetarium.
LED.
You can't see stars in Orlando anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe that's over in the Guardians of the Galaxy area.
Hey, that's fine. Listen, that's the only IP I am 100% on board with them putting anywhere. You stick Guardians anywhere, I'm there.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm all in on Guardians, everything.
A life-size Groot.
Yes.
Listen, every time I see that from Disneyland, I get so jealous.
I know, right?
Yeah. I wanted to hate it so much, and I just don't.
You don't. I know.
I wanted to dislike it. I really did. I tried.
Have you seen the video of full-size Groot dancing with baby Groot?
Yes.
Yes.
That was so cute.
No, I haven't seen that.
Too much Grootness.
Yes.
Oh, it was so cute.
Funny stuff. Yes, funny stuff. Speaking of Guardians, I got my T-shirt came the other day that I got, my Yondu "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all" T-shirt.
Yay!
And I wore it when we went to go see Cars 3 on Friday night. And there was only like 6 people in the theater, and I know nobody knew what the hell it was, but I don't care. I wore it. I was representing.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
So, anyway. So, yeah, Seas Pavilion, tons of potential. Just spruce up a couple of the areas, like Melanie said, brighten up the building a little bit, and
it's a good area. That's actually one of the places in Future World that's actually good.
Yeah, and you can get lost in there for an hour or two. Just even, like
in the air conditioning.
Yes.
But I mean, it is nice to just watch the stuff and look for the different sea life and things of that nature. But why not add a show element to it somewhere? Remember, Melanie? Right. Remember when they used to have the guy come out of the dive chamber like every hour, and he'd do the whole show, like how they decompress and how they take the scuba gear on and off, and he'd go and he'd disappear, and so that was that was cool. Now if they even do it once a day, I think if they even do it at all, I don't know. I haven't seen it last bunch of times I've been in there, but
we were there last year, and I remember seeing it a couple times.
Yeah, okay, maybe they still do it more regularly.
A couple days of the week, they do it a couple times a day. So
okay, well that's good. So that's about it for Future World stuff that was on this list. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what gets announced more definite at the D23 event, and I'm sure other stuff will trickle in between now and then as everything starts circling around the old social media circuits. So now on to World Showcase. The thing that's been discussed for years and years and years is what new pavilion, what new country can come in, and where would it go, or what would you replace, and what would you switch out, and so on and so forth. So I don't know, things on the list that were in this were either Puerto Rico, Brazil, or Spain, and it seemed that Spain was more in the lead because I don't remember what it said.
A movie called Gigantic?
Yes, that's it. Because of that, which
I've never heard of.
I heard about it. I don't know what the premise is, but it got pushed back to 2020. So I guess for whatever reason, I don't even remember the premise of it, but I do remember reading something about it. We might have discussed it on here a bunch of episodes ago about upcoming films or what was in the works, but I do remember hearing the name.
I feel like if they're going to add a new country, I'd rather it be South American. It's not represented anywhere, is it?
No.
South America?
No, because Mexico is Central America, so...
Yeah.
No, it's not. There's no South American countries, but Brazil being the obvious because it's the biggest, but even if they did Argentina or Chile, those are also big South American countries either, Hey, then the tour groups would have a place to go all the time. Follow the flag.
So
big restaurant, big Brazil. It would move the crowds. I mean, just from a crowd perspective. I mean, the Brazilians do love Disney. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not.
Exactly. I think something for them like that would actually be a nod to say, "Hey, we know you're here.
Thanks for coming.
We know you're here.
Thanks for coming. This is for you." And give them a great big pavilion with wonderful restaurants, which I would love. Brazilian food is fantastic.
Yes, it is. Tapas for everybody.
So, I think Brazil's a natural, but I have a feeling they're probably going to go to Spain.
Yeah, that's what seemed to be in the lead. And Puerto Rico is technically an island, and it's owned by the United States anyway. So I don't see the pull in that.
Don't get into the geopolitical factors there.
No,
but yeah,
no, I'm not.
It's more of a state than a country anyway.
Right.
It's kind of until it's either a real. Can't say it's a real country. That's not exactly right. Or politically
I don't know what
accurate,
its status is,
but it's a U.S. territory.
Right. And
so it's not exactly a sovereign nation. So that doesn't actually fit in the World Showcase
theme
vibe.
Right.
And if it was a state, that obviously would be...
Makes no sense.
I mean, I think the Puerto Rican flag is in the American Adventure Pavilion anyway.
I believe it is, yes.
So
I believe it was added. So, and the other thing about Brazil is, since they all stay at the All-Star Sports Resort, because they're all cheerleaders when they're here, or for band, we can just make
they're excited.
We can make a direct line from the All-Star Sports right to Epcot, just for them.
Actually, I was at Port Orleans Riverside in, 2012, I think, and there was a tour group there.
Oh, yeah?
Wow.
I know. They were actually, it was a group, I want to say it was probably about 80-ish, not quite 100 teenagers. They were lovely kids, but as a mom of teens, anytime you get that many teens together, they're not going to be quiet.
No.
No, I love teenagers, but it was a lot of them.
Yeah.
So Gigantic is
incredibly advertised at a
So Gigantic's another take on the whole Jack and the Beanstalk story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
As if that hasn't been told enough times.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Mickey version is all we need.
I was just gonna say that. That one is
it's the heart.
That one is the
And
best
how
one.
they get
It
that
is the heart.
pea to slice like it's on a deli machine. How do they get the pea to do
It
that?
was a nice sharp knife.
They didn't have food, but they had sharp cutlery.
They had sharp cutlery. That's right.
Whew.
And Donald Duck going insane.
Oh, that's classic.
I haven't watched that short in a long time.
Used to be on Netflix.
Yeah, I probably have it
They have the little open.
somewhere, but all right. So moving on. So the other one that, as far as replacements, is in the Mexico Pavilion because they've got this movie Coco coming out, which I guess is I guess it's based in Mexico or has some sort of Mexican heritage behind it. So there
Something about Day of the Dead.
Right. So there was talks of that replacing the Grand Fiesta Tour, which I'm cool with. I like Grand Fiesta only because it reminds me slightly of what used to be there, but El Rio de Tempo was a much better attraction because the movies that they showed on the screens were a little better and a little more authentic to Mexico. Like now it's just they're trying to chase Donald and they go to some of the landmarks and make goofy cartoons out of it. The best part was when they added the animatronics at the end, which I would be sad to see those go because that is pretty flippin' awesome. Maybe they can move those somewhere else in the pavilion and still have them kind of talk like they used to have with Melvin and Buck and the other one from Country Bears when they used to be out on the other side of the in the mile-long bar. So
right.
That would be cool if they reuse those. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know much about that movie. I don't even know when it comes out, so I don't know what the deal is with that. But you know, if it authenticates it a little more and it's still being an IP at the same time, then I'm kind of cool with that. You know, as much as everybody resisted and me being one of them and got all outraged about Maelstrom leaving and Frozen coming, it fits the theme of the area and the land, and they kind of knocked it out of the park. So I got to trust what they're thinking and what they're doing.
I was thinking about that today when we were talking about discussing all this, about the outrage over Frozen Ever After.
Oh man, I was brutal on Twitter, I'll admit it.
Well, like everybody was. It was like, you know, having not been in the Disney world for that long, the social media world, I was shocked at the outrage. But then it's like the second it opened, 4-hour wait every day since.
I know.
So it's just, it makes me laugh at the irony there. But I just wonder how much. Right. I just wonder how much outrage there will be over a Guardians, or if it's just because it was Frozen and it seemed like it was such a Frozen overload at Disney World at the time it was announced, that's why there was so much outrage.
Given the reaction to the Tower of Terror in California, I'm going to say no, it's not just Frozen.
True.
I think it's just change.
Good point.
Yeah, no, 100. Jessica hit it on the head right there. It's just change in general. And especially when it's... Listen, Maelstrom was a fun ride. It was great. Was it the greatest thing in the world? No. But, you know...
And maybe because it's, you know, Universe of Energy, there'll be less of a backlash, too. But
I think that's what... If it's something that's anything more thrilling than what that was, I think people will be happy with it. You know, do I want to see the park full of IPs? No, I do not. But if they make it so it works and it's not like, you know, over-the-top screaming everything, you know... movie here, movie there, everything's a movie-based attraction, then that's fine. But they're going to do what they need to do to get people through the gates and people saying that this park is fun again. Because I guarantee if people, if once anything opens, either Star Wars Land is first, I believe, once that opens, Epcot's back on the bottom of the list. As far as if you ask people to name the parks. I bet you Animal Kingdom is everybody's second, because Magic Kingdom is probably always first. I bet you now the order is Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and some people will probably flop those two because of Pandora, and then Epcot, and then the studios.
Oh, definitely.
And I guarantee you, once anything opens at MGM, that Epcot's taking number 4 spot, and MGM could move ahead of Magic Kingdom because depending
MGM.
on. I'm sorry.
You're going
And while
way
you're
back.
saying MGM, let's bring back the original spelling of Epcot.
I still call it
With the
Epcot.
all capital. I still call it Epcot Center.
It's
With
even
all capitalization.
Yeah.
You know, EPCOT.
Yep.
Bring it back.
Even though it's not
Because
what
that's
it
what it
stands
is.
for, but that's what it is. It's Epcot Center. It's funny because my phone, when I go to type in Epcot, it automatically has it capitaled and spells it out as Epcot every time. Anytime I'm saying the word.
Your
on
phone's been
anything.
trained, right?
Pretty much.
Good job.
There's other words it knows too, also. So.
Oh dear Lord. RJ.
Yes?
RJ.
Why? Why are you assuming that? You're.
Because I know you. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Say
Because we're friends on Facebook. That's why.
yes.
All right.
Facebook.com/
Yeah. So that's Mexico.
So I have a question for you all. Like, how do you guys feel about all of these new attractions coming out tied directly to a movie? Does it like put a timestamp on it for you? Because to me, it just seems like having more of like a genre, it's easier to change out, and it's not, 10, 15 years from now, you're not taking your kids and they're like, oh, what is this? I've never even seen this movie.
Right.
I'm just surprised they're going in like head first on movies. Because if they're a bust, then they're stuck with an attraction.
Right. Well, that's
Right.
I think that's where a lot of the Frozen backlash came from. Even though it was an insane hit in the theater,
Right.
people were worried about the longevity. Now, 20 years from now, is it going to be as popular as it was? Does it have that staying power like Lion King and Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid did and Aladdin? Who knows? It took 25 years to get a full-on Little Mermaid attraction in the Magic Kingdom or any Disney
Right.
park. And I feel that still has the staying power. That still gets long waits, and
I think Frozen is on par with Little Mermaid as far as longevity.
I think
Tangled,
so too.
Personally, Tangled is a better movie.
Yes, 100%
I think
agree.
the songs are better. I think the story
Yes.
itself is better. I just think that because that was the first movie from this new generation of Disney storytellers,
Right.
that it didn't quite get the traction that Frozen ended up getting.
I 100%
Maybe
agree
it was
with
Adele Dazeem. I don't know, but I think that Tangled is and the Rapunzel story obviously has longevity, so I think Tangled will last.
I think so too, and I wish.
If they do something Tangled, I wish what they did in Magic Kingdom was more than a bathroom.
Yes, I do too.
I was so excited. I'm like, oh, the tower. What are they going to do there?
Yeah,
Is there going
me
to be a
too.
meet and greet, or is there going to be something cool?
They
It's
totally.
bathroom.
They could have done a Tangled dark ride and kicked ass with it.
They really could have. So maybe they'll do some sort of, Tangled or Rapunzel experience. I would love for, some nods to the actual story of Rapunzel to be, put into Germany. That way it's not just,
Right.
there's a transition between authentic German storytelling to Disney
Yes.
storytelling and show the connection. I think that there's room for a property like Tangled. Now, the Day of the Dead movie with Pixar, that's a little iffier because the new generation of Pixar movies have not been as well received.
No, not at all.
So, that one's a gamble, but if it's just a slight, makeover of the ride that's already there that's outdated, then I don't see that much of a risk.
Right, because I don't remember completely. I don't think they changed much of the physical sets when it went from El Rio de Tiempo to Grand Fiesta. A lot of the
right.
screens changed, and obviously before
It's
they put the
low-tech.
before the animatronic characters were there at the end, there was a movie screen that played the same thing you're watching. So that was an easy transition. So for what you're saying, like if that Coco movie ends up being crappy, then
I think if they had any faith in it, they would have held it for a summer release.
Right.
Because it used to be where all the big box office Pixar movies would be released in the summers.
Yep.
If it's like a mid-season replacement in November or February, it means that Pixar likes it, but it probably could go straight to DVD.
Right.
So
Agreed.
it's just crazy that they would do an attraction based on a movie that they're not really sure about, or even like the movie Giant coming out, they're going to do, an additional country at Epcot based around that. So I guess I'm just more shocked that they're willing to invest so heavily in some of these movies, just like Avatar. They did an entire land around it, and what's the longevity, right? And I guess I'm just more shocked that they're heading in that direction. I think it's awesome because I think fans want full immersion, just like Harry Potter. But I'm more shocked at what they're selecting to do it. I feel like they should reach into those classic films like Tangled, like Little Mermaid, Frozen. Those are going to be classic movies. I feel like they should really go after the more classic films versus going like a film that they have no idea how it's going to perform.
And maybe international box office is different than what they're expecting here. And if they're thinking that Spain is going to be a big European draw, I really don't know.
Right.
I'd be interested to see what they're going to do in China, because weren't the rumors that they're just really going to revamp that 360? They're not really going to do much else.
What's
They've
that?
got the Panda movie.
In China?
In China.
They did the Panda movie. I mean, that's easy. They can just throw some kind of Mulan thing in there, I guess. The 360 movie in China makes me laugh because when
I haven't seen it in years.
When you go and see it, you're just going to remember what it was, because the guy that they have as the host, he is like your stereotypical Chinese guy, I guess. Like, he's got the long handlebar mustache, the goofy. He's got like a bad. It's like he's making fun of a Chinese accent himself, and
that's awful.
He reminds me of. Oh God, I can't think. He reminds me of, there was a show that was on Disney XD or something called, my kids watched it. It was called Kickin' It. And
Jake, was it? I thought it was Jake and the Dragon Hunter thing.
Something like that. Well, I think that was the name of the karate school or whatever. But the name of the guy who owned the school was
that was a live action one. I know what you're talking about.
But the name of
came on after Hannah Montana.
Yes, because it was the kid who played the brother. That was the show he did after Hannah Montana. And there were some other kids from other shows that all migrated into that one. But the name of the school was like Bobby Wasabi or something ridiculous like that. And when the guy who the school was named for actually would show up, it looked exactly like the dude from the movie in Epcot.
Oh, dear.
So it made me freaking laugh. I was like, it's like they're making fun of their own culture here.
That's awful.
Because it's so hokey. But the cinematography is beautiful.
Okay.
Just like the France one is. And the France one is really outdated as well also, but it's beautiful and the music is nice, so it's still nice to go and sit down in that theater and watch.
So it has a beat and you can dance to it.
Right.
With air conditioning.
Right. So, who knows? Yeah, Mulan in China, same thing, some sort of Ratatouille thing in France. Germany, we mentioned Tangled. There was always rumors that there was supposed to be a Rhine River cruise of some sort put back there. We don't need any more Snow White stuff. You got plenty of that in the Magic Kingdom now. UK with the Great Movie Ride possibly closing. Maybe they could have some sort of Mary Poppins full-on thing there. I don't really know what they could do with that. I mean, they have a meet and greet. I think that's probably all they need. I don't need to know that you need a Mary Poppins attraction of any sort.
Goodness, what would it be? Flying umbrellas?
That's what I mean. I don't know what the heck would you do. Unless they did the whole... The only way to be great is if they did the whole I love to laugh scene and everybody floats to the ceiling. Or the chimneys, or the step in time.
Or you go into the go into the chalk drawing.
Oh yes. There you go. The animated.
There we go.
We can go on a fox hunt.
Yes, in the Jolly Holiday.
That's
Come
right.
on.
You can dance with a penguin. See, look, we're fixing Epcot.
See?
We're fixing Epcot.
We are one rundown pavilion at a time.
One beer at a time. Oh.
That too.
Moving on. And then, of course, Japan some sort of Big Hero 6 themed thing, some sort of Baymax type attraction or area, or I don't know what the hell they could do there, because it really wasn't Japan. It was a hybrid of Tokyo and San Francisco that city was.
Well, there's nothing Disney in Japan right now. Nothing. That restaurant isn't Disney. The shop itself is a Japanese.
It's a department store from Japan, right?
It's a department store. Yeah, exactly. So, and there's no Disney merchandise at all in there. And you got to think that Disney can't be super happy about that in this day and age.
Probably not, but it's the same in
China.
Something.
The China store in China has absolutely no Disney merchandise.
No.
But considering that the Disney stores in Japan has awesome stuff,
they're fantastic.
I want it here, and the fact that our Japan pavilion does not have a Japanese Disney store is just
sad,
because that is there's nothing that's going to make me say shut up and take my money more than a Japanese Disney store in the Japan pavilion.
When I see people putting stuff on social media of the things they have in the parks there and that is available, it's ridiculous. It's really cool stuff.
Great.
I'd be if I ever get out there, I'm gonna have to bring an extra 2 suitcases for souvenirs.
Easily.
The hell with clothes.
I would pay the baggage fee for that.
No doubt.
Because it's just amazing. So the fact that the Japanese pavilion, which is a no-brainer, and Disney wants our money.
Yeah.
Well, there's no Disney stuff in France either.
Right. There's not.
Or Germany.
I think that was the intention of any of. Yeah, there's some, I think.
Yeah, there's some in Germany. Not much.
Not much. It's very subtle in all of them, which is probably the intention. But I gotta imagine the.
I don't mind subtle, but none. In Morocco, there's none in Morocco.
Well, Morocco, because that's still still fully funded by the Moroccan royalty?
Pretty much.
That was the only one that still is. I gotta imagine the Asian ones, Japan and China, their governments are pretty strict. So maybe they had some deal where they didn't want it littered with Mickey Mouses and Donald Ducks to buy everywhere.
You know, the thing that got all the people in the park in the first place?
Right. Well, that's, that was the thing when Epcot opened. Where's Mickey Mouse?
Right.
So they fixed that in a hurry, and we got space rainbow suit Mickey, Donald, and Minnie.
That was astronaut rainbow bright Mickey to you.
Hey, listen, I have pictures with all of them, so I can't say anything.
Put them on Facebook.
I have to find them. I definitely have pictures with them.
Oh, you have to post
I'm pretty sure. It's because we were there in 84, so. Oh, man. So, I mean, that's the long and the short. Oh, and the one that's going to hurt me the most is Illuminations. That would obviously be on the chopping block. I believe Siemens still sponsors that as well. So
they do.
I heard somebody talking about it today on a podcast I was listening to, that they wished Illuminations went before Wishes, and I wanted to throw something at the radio. And again, I know I'm in the deep,
I agree with them, but that's okay.
I'm in the deep minority with Illuminations being my favorite nighttime show, and I get it. I understand why, and I can't. I'm never going to argue with anybody about it, because everybody likes what they like. I just happened to. I liked the first version of Illuminations a lot, and that had a lot more going on. Each country had a little song. It lit up more. There was more lasers. There was a ton more to look at. Yeah, the scene in the middle with the fire and the fountains is not the greatest thing, and I get it why people think it's boring. But god damn it, what happens afterwards and the whole build up and the whole end scene, you can't tell me that Wishes is better than that. Granted, it's only about 5 minutes of the show, but and the song at the end, when they put the holiday tag on the end, to me, nothing beats that. Nothing beats that. Wishes doesn't get me emotionally anymore. Illuminations gets me every time. I get choked up every single time I see that show. Wishes just doesn't do that to me. Well, it can't anymore, but it didn't anymore. And that one used to give me the feels as well, but it just didn't do it anymore to me.
Oh, I'm with you. Illuminations is my favorite.
So, but I get it, I get it. It needs, and I'm fine with whatever they do is fine. Now, I have not seen Happily Ever After yet. I've heard it's fantastic and it's stupendous, that it's lacking a lot of fireworks, and that's what I'm sad about. I want to see fireworks. I don't want to see screens. The projections are fun and they're great, but I don't want it to be the whole damn show. I don't want it to be the whole show. So,
Well, I think it comes down to money because
absolutely.
fireworks are expensive. But
sure
as a kid who grew up at Disney World, nighttime shows to me are a great time to get on attractions with shorter waits. So
right,
I'm not emotionally attached to any of the nighttime shows, so they could all go, and I would be sad only in that there would be longer lines.
That's right.
At the big rides. So.
Well, I don't think any of them are going away.
I did see Illuminations in December and was kind of underwhelmed because you have to stake out your seat like an hour early or you get a horrid view, and I just don't have the patience for that. I wish there was something that they could do about the hour-long stakeout.
Right.
But they obviously can't. But
yeah. No, and
I if I'm gonna wait for an hour for something, it needs to impress me. And I think maybe I've just seen the Illuminations too many times.
Yeah, no, I get
I've been desensitized to the buildup. In fact, the only nighttime show that has given me goosebumps in the last 10 years was the drone show at Disney Springs at Christmas. Those drones.
Oh, I didn't see that, but I heard it was awesome.
And then they took the drones to the Super Bowl. So they were the same drones that were in the Super Bowl halftime show. But yeah, that drone show at Disney Springs where they just had the choreograph. I think that was the last nighttime show to give me chills in ages.
Nice. Yeah.
It's one of those things when you grow up a Disney kid where you're just like, ooh, yay, fireworks.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I get it. Believe me.
My kids hardly ever go to the 4th of July fireworks in our hometown anymore.
Oh, I don't either.
Really? Fireworks? We can go to Disney.
I don't bother. There's no music to it unless you try to find it on an AM station, and I can sit home and drink beer instead of have to drag all my shit to the beach and fight parking on the way out. I don't want it. Sorry.
There's people sitting next to you that you don't know.
That's kind of my thing. I used to shoot them professionally. I did it for 30 years.
Oh, fun.
I don't do it anymore because it's boring.
Yeah, shooting them. Yeah, you're just, I mean...
And I hate risking getting blown up.
It's all computer controlled now anyway.
Yeah, some are.
But yeah, I think Illuminations, it at the very least needs an update. But
yeah, no, I'll...
something needs to change. And if they're going to change so much about Epcot, if any of this comes to fruition, then I think giving it a good nighttime show overhaul is in order as well.
I would agree.
And I have a feeling that just like we say about everything that we initially are resistant to, but then it comes out and we love it. I think a new nighttime show at Epcot would be worthy of all the changes that they would do.
I would think so. As long as it's not Rivers of Light.
Unless it's not Star-Lord, unless it's... I have a feeling it's not going to be all Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, I don't... I had heard somebody mention something that it would be... No, not Star-Lord.
It could be like a Ravager funeral.
Oh, now you're talking.
See, now we're talking.
Now I'll be okay with that.
It could be like a Ravager funeral.
And I will weep every time.
You're welcome, Imagineers. I'm not even going to charge you for that idea.
That's right. And you can hand out tissues because I will cry every time.
Because at the very end it'll go, I'm Mary Poppins,
That's
y'all.
right. And then
and then we're all blubbering.
And then that'll be the final firework that shoots up, and it'll be like it'll be like an umbrella with like a blue
dude.
With a blue dude like coming down. There you go.
Oh, now that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
And we've lost Melanie.
We have. She's gone off the rails as usual. We expect nothing less.
No. Keeping you entertained, folks. Keeping you entertained. Yes.
One Marvel movie at a time.
That's right. So, yeah. As long as it is not an IP-filled show along the lines of like Fantasmic. That I don't want. Because that doesn't fit Epcot, and we don't need that. You have that at Magic Kingdom, you have it at Studios, and you have whatever that mess is at Animal Kingdom. The Rivers of Light show.
Is it still as creepy as it used to be?
What's that? Rivers of Light?
Yeah, I heard that there were some creepy aspects, like the cast members coming a little too close to you, and
I don't.
Or did they change that?
Nothing comes up in the.
I find it creepy.
Yeah, nothing comes up in the aisles. It just was nothing.
Okay.
They did in the Jungle Book Alive with Magic.
Oh, okay, that was the one.
Came through.
That was the one. Yeah, that came through.
Then that's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
No, Rivers of Light was just like nothing. I mean, it was kind of pretty to look at, but
it was pretty for one time.
That's it. I completely agree. I will not do it again. I won't waste a fast pass. I won't waste time. And I know we talked about this on another episode, but yeah, I mean, for all the time they spent on that thing and all the delays and all the nonsense, man, that thing did not wow me at all, not in the least. And I keep hearing so much stuff about. I listened to somebody else who had just came back from going to Pandora on a podcast today, and I can't wait to get my ass there and check it all out. The stuff I keep hearing about it and how people's minds are blown by that attraction. I know, Adrian, you told us all about it, about Flights of Passage, but everybody has this same reaction. They're just blown out of the water by it.
And I think that's what kind of sold it, a decade ago, even though Avatar had become kind of an obscure movie already, was that it lent itself to being a theme park experience so easily and organically and naturally that everybody was like, Yep. I just kind of wish it was more than the 2 attractions. I mean,
there may be something. They may be planning on a third. Who knows? I
want to see where it goes.
And I think the funny thing was, and this fellow I was listening to brought it up too. He's like, I don't give 2 craps about the movie. He said, and the way that, Adrian said it, and he almost echoed her words, that when you walk into that land, it's like you're not even in the animal kingdom anymore. They've totally immersed you in this whole different world. He said, and you could know nothing about it because it was him, his wife, and his son. He said, and the 2 of them have never seen the movie before, and they could have cared less because you didn't need to see the movie. And I think we talked about this, Adrian, when you were telling us about your thing, how I'm glad they made it so you didn't have to see, because it's not a property that's owned by Disney. They just have the rights to use it in their parks. So it behooves them to make it their own experience. And I know I'm repeating myself on this, but I'm glad they went that route. And I can't wait to go and experience that and be immersed in a world that, yes, it's loosely, or not loosely, but I mean, it's based on a movie, but you don't need to know the movie and everything about it to enjoy the experience. And that is what I love about it.
Like you said, I know we were kind of rehashing old stuff, but it's almost the opposite of the immersion in Harry Potter. Like, Harry Potter was meant for the fans, so there's all these little Easter eggs everywhere, but you don't feel like you're missing out on any of that stuff in Pandora. It's like like I said, it's like the complete opposite feeling and the same thing all at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, because, people are going to go into Pandora not having seen Avatar, maybe since it was in the movie theater.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to have just as good of a time as somebody who saw it last week.
And the guy I was listening to, he was saying they're pushing, not that they're pushing, he said, but the movie was on constant rotation, like in the resort on the channels. The Avatar movie. So they're trying to, I guess they want people to see it, but probably to push.
Maybe I'm glad I stayed offside last time.
Yeah. So, for what that's worth. So I don't know. I mean, that's all that came out of the rumor thing, and like I said, it's out there on a couple of different sites. It's easy to find if you want to read through all the. We hit on pretty much everything that they talked about. There wasn't anything in great detail in any of these topics. They just kind of ran through and gave a synopsis of what was rumored and what was maybe meant to be or thought to become of them. So, we'll see what happens when D23 rolls around in a couple of weeks, a month, and I'm sure we'll react again to that, because then it'll be stuff that's actually going to happen, and then that's when everybody can start getting all fired up and crazy about stuff.
And you never know, there might be a big press release right around the anniversary, October 1st, too.
So I'd have to assume that they're going to announce something, or there will be something, if not at the event in the park, but yeah, some sort of press release about what's going to be coming with the future of Epcot. So, diehard fans and old school people like me are going to be waiting in suspense and hoping that they're not just going to turn it into, IP property all over the place, and hope that there's going to be some new good original attractions that are put in there, or shows or anything of the sort. But,
Bring back Off Kilter.
Will be, yeah.
For the love of Pete.
Yeah. Anything. Find another rock band that was close to them. Find the Off Kilter cover band and get them to come in.
Cover band for the cover band. I like it.
Works for me. Okay, so I don't know, you guys got any closing statements on any of that stuff? Anything that excites you or...
I don't have anything on that, but a follow-up to our talk last week about the dining plan. They did announce the 2018 pricing for the dining plan. And, yeah, it's crazy. Quick service dining plan went from $48.19 to $52.49.
Well, that was because they added the booze.
Well, yeah, let me get to that in a second. The standard Disney plan went from $69.35 to $75.49. And the deluxe dining plan went from $106 to $116.
Wow.
The only thing that really bothers me about this is, the child portion didn't go up, but it's only from ages 3 to 9. So that means if you're 10 to 21 and paying for an adult dining plan, you're paying to get alcohol that you can't drink.
Pretty much.
So, I don't know.
Thank you, 10 to 20-year-olds, for subsidizing my alcohol problem.
That's right.
Exactly.
Oh, that's what it's turned into.
Yeah, so I guess, and I read a little bit of it, and I heard, I guess the alcohol part is going to, you get 1 credit, and it's good for beer and wine and mixed drinks, but not mixed drinks that are like specialty drinks, so like the ones with...
Oh, no, it is. It's included. Yeah, so you get a single-serving alcoholic beverage, which includes beer or cider, wine or sangria, mixed drinks, and specialty cocktails.
But even like those super fancy cocktails with like glow cubes and things of that nature.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Those are going to be included. I mean, maybe you can use it towards it and then pay off the difference. I'm not sure, but...
Yeah, they charge you for the glow cube, probably.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't shock me. So I don't know.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't use a dining plan, so it's of no...
Yeah, we haven't used it in a couple years.
Bearing on me.
We talked about using it for our trip in October, but now I think we're all reconsidering that.
One of those things that it's not for everybody. It works for some people and their family and their eating style, and for others it doesn't. It's there for... It's just there as another option. That's all. Kind of like the mobile ordering thing. Now this podcast I was listening to, which was Miscellaneous. Give them a little shout out. They were the fellow on there that was telling about the Pandora had the same sentiments as Adrian about it, and he was also saying about the mobile ordering. He wasn't at Flame Tree, I guess it started at. So he said that while he was there and I waited in the regular line, he didn't do the mobile ordering. There was not one person using it, waiting, pick up anything, and the place was packed. So, I don't know if it's because it's new. I know, Adrian, you said you used it and it worked fine. So, I haven't heard people saying it doesn't work. I guess people are either just using it or they're not. So, I don't know. I'd be interested to try it one time just to see what it's all about. I don't know if it's something that I would use when I'm down there with my whole family. I really don't know. I guess it would depend on the situation and what's going on. But it's cool to have options. Options are nice. If everybody's waiting for the mobile ordering, then maybe it keeps the lines short at the just the regular line. One would think. All right.
If you're going to be in the Indianapolis area on August 26th, we're having our 10th anniversary Indy Disney Meet. And it's going to be a blast. We've doubled the space this year. It's held at the fairgrounds right here in Hamilton County in Noblesville, Indiana, which is on the northeast side of Indy. And we got all kinds of stuff, all kinds of people coming this year. Yeehaw Bob, which I don't know how many of you are familiar with him, but he does performances at Port Orleans Resort at the River Roost Lounge. We've got Herbie the Love Bug coming. Of course, our favorite people, the princesses from Frozen, the 501st Legion, which is a fan group that does Empire and Rebel costuming from Star Wars, will actually be here, and there's some of that in the video that I posted. Yeah, they are. So it's a carry-in Everybody brings food, and holy cow, we end up with a ton of it. Everything from savory to sweet. They usually have a machine set up doing Dole Whips, and we have drawings and things like that. But all the money that we raise goes to Give Kids the World, which is the little community in Florida where basically Make-A-Wish takes their kids for kids that are, have come down with cancer, and it's their Make-A-Wish to go to Disney World. So all the money we raise for that goes towards that. We're also going to be doing a group podcast from there. There'll be several of us there. I know Mike Relman from Be Our Guest podcast is going to be there. He started coming last year. So it'll be a really good time. So if you're in the area, and I'll be talking about it the next few podcasts up, probably even until that weekend. So they have a kids room with kids activities, and they always have character meet and greets in there, face painting. They'll have a DJ. At some point, they show a couple movies for the kids, and it's a good time. So come on out.
I think it's a good time to wrap this episode up. So as always, you can head on over to thedizexplorers.com, and you can find links to all our social media accounts. On Facebook, join our group, and we are on Twitter, Diz Explorers. We are on Instagram as well. And then also there is links for all our individual troopers' personal social media accounts on all the various platforms. We're all on there in some form or another. So give us a follow. We will follow back and answer questions you have, or talk about what the latest episodes and things of that nature. As for the podcast and downloading it, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, the TuneIn Radio app, Google Play, Podbean, and also on YouTube. We thank you for listening, and we'll talk to everybody next time.